We're in the middle of the worst cost of living crisis for decades, and people are really struggling. Just last week, energy bills went up by hundreds of pounds, and today the government chooses to increase tax on working people. And this isn't the first rise from this Chancellor. We've had 15 tax rises, if you can believe it, from this Chancellor. So we've now got the highest rate of taxation for 70 years. So this, I'm afraid, is the wrong tax at the wrong time, and it's hitting lots of working people and it's hitting businesses. And here at Bake Up this morning, I've heard of a business that says because of the energy bills, because of this tax rise, they now won't be taking on extra staff. That's the human cost of this failure by the government.
If you were in government then, what would you be doing to tackle both the COVID backlog and reform the adult social care system?
Well, it's very important that we deal with the backlog of cases in the NHS, and a Labour government would always support the NHS. The problem I have with this tax today is that the money it will raise will almost certainly be used to fill the black hole, because we've had over £11 billion worth of fraud and loss through COVID-related payments over the last 2 years, and the government's not even trying to get that money back. So nobody's got a problem with money going to the NHS. This money, sadly, will be paying off the incompetence and failure of the government in relation to fraud and equipment that they never used during COVID.
How difficult do you think it is for households at the moment?
It is really difficult for households at the moment. All of the prices are going up, whether that's fuel, energy, food. Wages are through the floor, and I've heard so many human stories. A pensioner with mobility problems was talking to me about the fact that until the very cold snap last week, she hadn't even had her central heating on because she's so scared about the price and the cost. So many human stories. Here in Bake Up this morning, businesses saying to me it's really impacting on them. They're feeling this extra tax. And then that results in them saying we're not going to take on extra staff. So this is the wrong tax at the wrong time. 15 tax rises from this Chancellor in 2 years. Highest taxation for 70 years. This is a government that, because it hasn't grown the economy, has ended up as a high-tax government.
Moving on, conversion therapy. Do you back a ban on conversion therapy for trans people?
Conversion therapy in all its forms should be banned. That used to be the government's position, and they've been flip-flopping on this over the last few days. They need to stick to their promises. But I can't help feeling that this is yet more distraction tactics from the government. They know that what is keeping people awake at night is the cost of living, whether they can pay their bills or not. In order to try and distract from that, the government wants to create an argument about conversion therapy. It's not going to wash. We can all see what they're up to. Today is the day when most people are worried about these new taxations that the government is imposing on them today.
Finally, the UK is expected to announce further sanctions against Russia today. Do you think the sanctions are having an effect?
We need to have even tougher sanctions in relation to what's happening in Ukraine. We've all seen those images, those horrific, harrowing images coming out of Ukraine. We've all seen the bravery and the courage of those fighting in Ukraine, and we have to give them every support we can. That means military support to help them defend their cities and defend their countries. It means being absolutely clear and with one voice that these war crimes, and they are war crimes, will end up with those responsible being hunted down. Everybody who's involved in these war crimes needs to know they're not going to have a night's sleep now until they're hunted down and put before the International Criminal Court. So toughest sanctions, real effective remedies, and we need to stand together as in defence of Ukraine with our NATO allies.
Have our sanctions been enough so far? Should we have done more sooner?
I think we should have gone further, and I think we should have gone faster. We voted for the package that the government put before Parliament. The government's talking about tougher sanctions. My message to the government is stop talking about tougher sanctions, bring them forward. And I'll tell you what, we won't divide on this in Parliament. The Labour Party will support any further tougher sanctions. So if the government wants tougher sanctions, it knows what it needs to do. Put a package before Parliament, we'll vote for it, it'll go through very quickly, and that's the right thing to do.